Right. So, Hilary, welcome to the show. It's
Thank
incredible.
you. Thanks for having me.
It's epic. Tell me, how's your day treating you so far?
My day so far is it was going great, and it is going great because we're having an awesome chat.
Good.
Uh, I had a bit of a kerfuffle where my table fell over and my laptop was saved, but my coffee did go
Oh,
everywhere. But
dang
so
it.
it's going much better now.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I can understand that. And so yeah, so as I said before, welcome to the show. And jumping straight to the interviews now, to the whole questions. Let's go back in time here and tell me where does this passion for acting started?
Right, for sure. So it's, maybe a little cliche, but since I was a little kid, I remember
Okay.
being, a probably about three and just like running around, always forcing my parents to like watch plays. I remember there was one I was always a panda. That must have been, quite riveting.
That's pretty
And
cool.
then I remember watching The Wizard of Oz.
Mm,
I must have been like 4 or 5, like quite small, and realizing that they were actors. Like I loved the story, and then realizing that all of these actors like got to do this and that
yeah.
this was their job. So that's, so ever since I can remember, really. And then as I was a kid, I would, my parents enrolled me in kind of like a creative movement class when I was 4 or 5. But I am from a family of athletes, so they really had no idea what to do with me.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, so, did some dance growing up as well as some sports, and then
Mm,
joined a musical theater company when I was 12 and did that kind of, I would describe it as like semi-professionally. Like we were treated as adults and professionals. We just weren't
okay.
paid. We did it recreationally.
Yeah.
Um, and then, finished high school, moved to Toronto a year or so later and started training as an actor professionally. So although I started in musical theater, I was always an actor first, and then graduated theater school here in Toronto, Canada, and have been, you know, doing my thing ever since.
I love it. I love it. Such a cool journey. Absolutely. And like digging here a little bit more on your acting career. Tell me like how you prepare a character. Now I understand, of course, that depends on the role, but what is your, let's say, your initial approach when you're about to start creating?
Right. Yes. Um, as you said, depends on the character, but I think just generally, I always start with research. So initially, that's, you know, say it's an audition, you get the sides. I read the sides, I read the breakdown, I read any information that can come my way.
Mm,
And I just kind of start mining for information and gather anything that I'm given.
yeah.
Sometimes you're given the full script if you're auditioning, or if I'm preparing a character for, like if I'm playing the role in a TV show or film or play. And I just get as much as I can out of that, like given circumstances, all of the kind of facts. And then I kind of weave it all together and, you know, do my actor work, all of the text work. And honestly, then I just like to kind of put myself into situations like that, or
Yeah.
stories that I've heard from other people. Like I'm certainly not a method actor or anything like that, but empathy is a beautiful tool.
Absolutely.
And then and then honestly, I just love to play with it. And I think that's the most important part. And I think for most actors, we got into it because we loved it. So you might as well have some fun. And
Mm,
sometimes playing with it, quote unquote, and having fun with it is like you're screaming and crying and doing this big dramatic scene. But
yeah.
like the little kid inside of you is like, oh my God, this is so much fun.
Absolutely. And like the whole fact that you get the chance to explore so many things, right? I mean, we're talking from superhero to teacher to cop to astronaut to lawyer, like the
Mm.
whole like the whole thing you're able to do to kind of explore like a little bit how is their life of people who actually, I mean, not superhero of course, but like teachers and things like that. The fact that you can taste a little bit of their life, and how they
Mhm.
do and everything, I find that pretty cool.
Yeah, totally. It gives you an opportunity to live such or get a taste of such like an expansive life because you get to if you're lucky, play all these different characters
Absolutely.
and experience all these different things through their viewpoints.
Absolutely, absolutely. And tell me, what would be your dream role? You know, that role you're like, I want it at some point. I know it's gonna happen, but I've been wanting this role. Like, what would it be?
That's such a good question. And I always struggle with answering that because I don't think she exists yet. Like, I can't say that she's a superhero or something like that. I think I'm always fascinated, and what always livens me up are stories about women who get to go on like a massive journey.
Okay.
So whether that's they, overcome something or have this huge life event or, are really fighting for something. I always say I would love to have a career like a mix between Carey Mulligan and Margot Robbie is always what I say.
Okay.
So it's,
interesting.
I always say An Education's my favorite movie, and Carey Mulligan in it is like, mwah, chef's kiss, so beautiful. Her work is so great. And then Margot Robbie is an equally talented actress, but she also does like a lot more mainstream stuff too. And gets to do some cool action-y stuff too. So it's a long-winded answer, but kind of
I love it.
Yeah, many things, many layers.
Okay. And what genre would you like to explore more? Would it be like
I've been really lucky. I've gotten to do quite a few, like, I've done some really dramatic stuff, done the comedy stuff, done dramedy, which I think I sit most naturally in. I don't know. I think drama. I think there's just always a lot of meat in there. I also don't think I'm a goof, but I'm not like a professional funny person. Like I have friends that, work with Second City and they're professional funny people. I'm not like a har person, but I think Hilary in herself is I make a lot of people laugh with my antics. So, but I think drama is something that I want to keep exploring the most, but with infusions of laughter from life, because life is hilarious too.
All right. Now, what has been your worst audition ever?
My worst audition ever. Yeah, that's an easy one. I was like a year out of theater school. It was a theater audition. And it was for like a pretty independent production, but I had had a really long day. And I walked in, and it turns out I had met the director a week before at an opening. And she was lovely. So I think I was really young. I was really green. I got knocked off my game that way. I had like barely memorized the text. And then, walked in, got thrown off that way, and went to go do my piece. And I got 2 sentences in and forgot the entire thing. So completely blanked, and then tried to restart and find my way back into it, because that usually helps. And that didn't help, and that didn't work. So I ended up like holding the paper and reading it, and I walked out, and I was like, oh my God, that's the word. It feels humiliating, and it's so vulnerable. And everyone on the other side of the table has been there too. Like it's a universal experience, but it just sucks. And so I actually ended up emailing that director and just said, basically, I know I came in and kind of bombed today, but I really like you, and I like your work, and I think this production sounds like a lot of fun. And just kind of, all the best, kind of being like, I am bowing out. I know I dropped the ball in there. And she wrote me back, and she was so kind. And she's like, thanks so much for coming in. Like, didn't even acknowledge me bombing, which I did. And she just said, I don't think it's going to work out for you as an actor in this production, but how would you feel about assistant directing with me? Ooh. And so I ended up working as an assistant director on that play. So yeah, it's a silver lining, but it was a horrible feeling. but definitely turned out into something cool, a happy ending. Yeah, totally. I'm glad that I was vulnerable enough to be like, hello, knock, knock, knock. It's me. The person who just like majorly effed up in your room, and
Hmm.
then turned out she was, had my back anyways. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Now, what about if one day I call you and I tell you that I want to become an actor? Now, I don't have any experience at all, zero. Like, I mean, I only had one role back in high school, but come on. So based on
Every
what
little
you,
bit counts.
right? But like, based on what you know, what advice would you give to me as for someone who wants to basically throw everything away and focus now on this new journey?
What advice would I give you? I would say, okay, so we could go two ways with this.
Okay.
We could go, I think what's most important is I would say, do you love it?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the only way you can do it, because it's crazy and there's so many ups and downs, and so many levels
Yeah.
to it. So I would ask you if you loved it, and if you said yes, which I assumed that you would, I'd be like, you need to remember that, and you need to have people in your life that will remind you of that when you're feeling frustrated. That's what I would say. And then practically, I would just say, like, get training and just like never stop being a student in it, because you learn something new every time you're on set, any workshop you do, every audition you do, and just never, no ego amigo, and just never stop learning and striving to be better at it and improving it.
Okay, I tell you what, if I ever become an actor and I get my Oscar for Best Actor, I'll be mentioning you in my thank you speech.
Thank you.
Saying like, this wouldn't have been possible without Hilary, so Hilary, this is for you. Yeah.
Thanks, Daniel. Appreciate that. Yeah, I hope, fingers crossed.
Yeah. Who knows? I love it. Now, let's say that one day Netflix, HBO Max, Disney, or you name it, they call you and they tell you that they have this idea, which basically goes that all of the characters you have played at the moment, but like all of them, since the very first one back then until the most recent one, so all of those are going to gather to celebrate your birthday. Tell me what will be the name of that film.
Oh, okay. Steaming pot of, this would be a horrible title for a film, a steaming pot of shenanigans.
Okay, and what would it be? Would it be like drama, comedy, horror, or how would it be?
I've never done a horror. There's still time. I would say like a dramedy.
Dramedy.
There'd be parts that would be really dramatic, and then there were parts that would be really, really goofy. And yeah. A mixed mash of everything. Yeah.
What about describing your whole career, all this journey, but on a drink?
Like a cocktail I would make?
Yeah, like a drink.
Beverage.
Yeah, like a cocktail beverage drink, like something like that could describe your whole career, that if I try it would be like, oh, so this is how Hilary career feels.
Oh, okay, sounds good. We can start with Prosecco, because it's like bubbly and vivacious and fun and exciting and a little sweet, but I also like Prosecco a little bit on the dry side, so the nuance of it all. And then some kind of like Campari or Aperol, where it's like bittersweet, but a really pretty flavor. And something like tangy and zippy that gets in there, like a lemon juice or something like that, shaken over ice. So it's all just like all together. Yeah.
And how would you call it?
Adventure. That's what I would call it.
Okay. I'll take it.
Okay. So I was like, was that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds cool. Yeah. So my next question here is, if you had to choose one of your characters to go out, have some fun, get some drinks, which character would you choose to go out with you?
Oh, sorry, that's a really tough one. I think, okay, so I'm torn. Can I say two and then you can choose? Or I'll talk it out. I would say, okay, so I did a short that I helped co-produce and co-write about a year ago called We Don't Know How to Live.
Okay.
My character Claire is turning 30 and is like not pleased about it because life is we're never where we want to be in life when we get there. And she, yeah, I think Claire would be a lot of fun. She comes off as like really put together in some ways, but I think she lets loose in a real way. And I had my favorite line that maybe I've ever said was, I crawled in bed last night, got way too high, lit some candles, and watched Care Bears on YouTube. So I feel like that, I mean, that's her night in. Sounds pretty wild. So I feel like a night out, I think she knows. I think she knows how to live. I think it'd be fun.
Okay, I love it. Love it. And my last question here is, what motivates you? You know, we all have those days that basically we just want to quit. You know, that we think that it's been a waste of time. But anyway, my question here is like, what pushes you back? You know, like what pushes you back on this road, on this journey that you have created for so many years now?
Yeah. I would say it's, again, the reminder of like, do you love it? Okay. And the answer for me is always yes. And then also, you know, just having a really good support system. I'm lucky to have a lot of really amazing friends, and a bunch of them are actors too. So I think having someone and multiple people that you can call and they can, you know, give it to you straight and also like motivate you when you need that kind of outer circle to lift you up a little bit or things like that. I think a support system is really important, and just checking in with yourself and reminding yourself why you did it. Every couple years I have a moment where I will just be like, oh, I don't know. And then, you know, I sit down with myself and have a really good think. And I say, okay, if time and money didn't matter, weren't variables, is there anything else that you would do? And the answer is always acting and creating. So that's always my answer. And then I, you know, do the next thing. Yeah.
I mean, what can I say? I mean, I love what you do. It's super inspirational. It's super awesome. And the fact that you continue doing it, you know, I find that very awesome, because I mean, we all know that it's that acting career, it is difficult. I mean, it's hard because of competition and everything, but also because, I mean, that's
also the best.
Yeah, and at the same time, I mean, like the whole part of the of that, whenever you have like those down moments, you still continue to push forward and move forward. That's pretty cool, and that is something that that's pretty epic, because besides bringing us cool content, you know, besides bringing us emotions, like something to feel about, you are also showing us that here you are making it happen. Dreams can come true, but of course there's this huge of work that you need to put it as well in order to, you know, make it happen. So that's amazing what you do. So
oh, thanks, Daniel. I appreciate that. Yeah, absolutely. It's also like the most fun thing, right? It's so cool, and I think it's the best, which is why I keep doing it.
Absolutely, I love it. Keep inspiring, keep creating, because I'm super sure, those are my dogs again, but anyway, because I'm super sure that there's hundreds of people out there who definitely sees you as an inspiration and as someone to rely on. And as I said, the fact that you keep doing what you do, it is amazing. Keep doing it because I love it, and don't ever give up.
Right. Thanks, Dan. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. I also want to thank those who watched this video. Thank you so much. My dogs are also thanking it. That's for real. A lot. Yeah, a lot. But anyway, my point here is that thank you so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, follow, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this amazing, badass person that I'm speaking right now. You know, also follow her. You know, I'm gonna leave it in the description below, the links. You can follow her. # Team Hilary, Hilary, sorry, because she's amazing. Let's make Hilary a total rock star, a total badass, because she is. We all know that. And again, Hilary, thank you so much. Have an incredible rest of the week, and I'll see you in the next one.
Thanks, Dan.
All right.